Let's get that bread, kids. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Good morning, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. What up, world? It is great to be with you again. Happy Tuesday, y'all. My name is Rob Brown. Directly across from me on the other side of the metaphorical glass, he is the Alpha and the Omega of the Fan Upstate. He is the professor of perfection, the sultan of swag, the wizard of wave, the great one. Lonzo is here as well. We are ready to rock and roll with you guys today. Phone lines open, 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663. Preferred Home Services text line is open at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word. And, of course, you can tweet everybody at the station at The Fan Upstate. Hi, Lonzo!
You know, people say we're ready to rock, as you just did, but no one says we're ready for easy listening or we're ready for country. Could say we're ready to rap. I think that works, but none of that other stuff works.
I'm trying to figure out how to use. I mean, there's lots of ways to use country as a verb, but I don't. No, you're right. It doesn't hold up. That being said, I think if you're a country guy, and I am, right? I'm a country guy to some degree. If you're a country guy, like you just are country. If you're you got to get ready to rock because you can't rock at 6:30 a.m., right? You don't come out the bed ready to rock. I don't care how rock and roll you are. You don't come out of because if you rock, the night becomes a terrible morning. You got to get ready to rock. If you're country, you're just country all the time. You come out the bed country, you get in the bed country, you eat your meals country, you drive your truck country. There's no turning off country. You turn off rock and roll, and then you got to get ready to rock again to turn it back on. But if you are country, you just are country. Ain't a break from it.
When you start the show saying we're ready to rock, people know that there's energy coming.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time. If you say we're ready for country, it's like, oh.
I mean, again, and the thing is,
we're ready to jazz.
You can be country and also rock, right? You can be country and also rock. You can be rock and then also country, but it's a harder crossover, right? Like, I grew up on country. I come from country, and then I morphed into a rock guy. But I still got the country in me, right? But you still got to get ready to rock. You don't get ready to country. If you have to get ready to country, you're not country.
Did you just say you're a little bit country?
And a little bit rock and roll.
Did you really just?
I did.
Okay.
Which, ironically enough, the one thing I'm not is Osmondy. I don't need it. I don't want it.
So you're not into making money?
No. I don't need the Osmonds in my life.
Who needs money?
I don't need them in my life. Like, the crossover appeal is there. You can be country and also rock. It's a little harder to be rock and also country, right? Like, I will acknowledge, here, I'm ready to open myself up for judgment. I will acknowledge that for a few years in my mid-20s, towards the very beginning of the band that I now play in, we started with the premise of a cover band who also plays originals. And yes, Rob Brown did wear guy liner for a handful of shows in his mid-20s. Now, you can make fun of me all I want because Rob Brown had, let's just say, some success rate going rocking guy liner in his early rock and roll band days. But you don't wear guy liner on a Thursday night for a concert and then wake up on Friday country with the remnants of guy liner still on.
Did you have to use product to remove your guy liner?
No, I had like the wipes. You had like these little makeup wipes that you...
This is still kind of product, I guess.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not criticizing. I mean, if you were wanting to go, what is that, Green Day? If you were wanting to go Green Day,
Billy Joe Armstrong. We had a little it was like a punk alt crossover sound for a couple of years. And then one day we were like, it turns out you make more money playing covers in bars. Like a lot. So the guy liner went away, and then we all started wearing matching Ninja Turtle shirts because we're an 80s, 90s nostalgia cover band.
Better move. Definitely a better move.
Yeah, it pays more. Pays a lot more. But the point is...
That was when he was doing the country crossover there. Keegan says more like Bubba Joe Armstrong.
Nice. You don't wear guy liner on a Thursday night to play a dive bar and then wake up country on Friday morning. But you can wake up country on Friday morning and then be ready to rock on Friday night. And that's what we do here on the show. We get ready to rock. Welcome in, folks. Great to have you. To the shock and surprise of exactly no one, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, Matt Rule named Baker Mayfield his starting quarterback like Lonzo told you months ago was going to happen. Months ago. I'm going to go to some sound here if you don't mind, Lonzo, when you're ready. Matt Rule yesterday in a presser announced that Baker Mayfield had defeated Sam Darnold in the quarterback race. I'm going to go clip one here if you don't mind. This is what Matt Rule had to say regarding that decision.
And I hope you guys understand, both those guys are really important to me. They're important people. And so I'm not going to compare them, and I hope everyone understands. Like, I don't want to say anything that, because, at the end of the day, I believe in both guys. And I believe in who Sam Darnold is, and I believe in how hard he's worked and how professional he's been. At the end of the day, we felt like, Baker's made a lot of progress in a short amount of time, kind of in the things I've talked to you guys about. And so we felt like it was right to make that move for this team, right now. I said, hey, when we know, we know. We felt like we knew, and it was time now with the second preseason game done to sort of start to move forward and say, hey, Baker's the quarterback. Sam, you get ready, and kind of go from there.
So there you have it. With the second preseason game done, it was time to make a decision and get ready. Well, I think it was time to make that decision about a week ago. I think preseason game number 1 showed me all I needed to see, right? Because if Sam Darnold was fighting for his job and what he did in week 1 was the best he was going to give you, playing with the same guys that Bake played with to open the game, if he was fighting for his starting job and that was the best he could give you, then yeah, that decision got made. This shocks exactly, I'm assuming, 0 people, Sam Darnold included.
Except for those couple guys in national media who said Sam Darnold will win the job. Those guys hopefully have disappeared. If not, I hope someone makes them pay. The other thing is, how soon do you think he noticed?
I like the idea of Lonzo is a vigilante, but he only takes journalists with bad takes out.
With my words, not with. Don't bring Lorenzo back. No, how soon did Sam Darnold know? I would say he knew when they decided to bring Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
That's when most people knew.
Bro, I told you Bake was the starter before we saw Baker wearing Panthers gear for the first time, right? Baker was the starter when he was doing hello, how are you, won't you tell me your name Zoom meetings and was still in Cleveland.
I just don't understand, Rob, how they could bring in a child to be the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers because, Cleveland wanted a grown-up. They did.
They wanted an adult in the room.
Yeah, how's that working out for them?
Yeah, right? Ugh. Anyway, so Baker is your starter. No shock there. Let me get clip number 1D, please. This is Matt Rule talking about what stood out about Baker, what he appreciates about Baker, and ultimately what led to him making the decision to start Baker Mayfield as QB1.
And I hope you guys understand. Both those guys are really important to me. They're important people, and
That's the same clip.
so I'm not going to compare them. And I hope everyone understands. Like, I don't want to say.
So that's Matt Rule. Did I record the same one twice?
Yeah, I was just say that's not me.
All right, I may have recorded the same one
Yeah,
twice.
you did. I'm looking at the audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just dumb.
it's the
That
same
works.
one.
Let me try clip 1E then. This may be the same clip again. I don't know.
It appears, looking at the wave, it is a different.
All right,
thing,
perfect.
so.
All right, so why now then, Matt Rule? Why did you wait as long as it feels like you waited to make this decision?
Well, we're hoping that he moves the offense. I mean, I don't want to make it too simple, but I mean, I think he's a guy that's accurate. He's a guy that's smart. He plays fast. He knows where to go with the ball. He's still adjusting to our mechanics, our footwork. So, I think making this move now gives him time to really kind of settle in with some guys. And but he's a really fast processor, and so. As much as anything, the chemistry with the receivers is one thing. The chemistry with the center, because Baker goes pretty quick, and he wants to get in the protection calls and get going. So, but there's a lot of work to do. I just felt like this was the time.
Here's my problem with that take. I get it, but here's my problem with that take. My take with that is, you're like, oh, we wanted to give him time to build the chemistry, wanted time to let him work with the offensive line and get the offensive line running at Baker's speed because he wants to run a fast-paced offense. There's two problems I have with that. The first is, does your quarterback dictate the speed of your offense, right? Does the quarterback dictate the speed of the offense? If you've got a guy like Michael Vick, sure, right? If you got a guy like, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes, sure.
But the quarterback does dictate the speed of the offense by how he brings you out of the huddle, the urgency at the line. I think you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. He's kind of nonchalant, and he kind of lopes out there, and there's no sense of urgency, no nothing until the ball is snapped. I think that Baker is the opposite of that. He gets you out there, he gets you up there, he's hyped, he's ready to go, and that's kind of what the Panthers need.
I get that. I don't even disagree with that. I think that when I talk about dictating the speed of the offense, what I'm talking about is he going out there and getting into the offensive line's face and being like, you guys need to hurry up? Or is the coach changing the way he play calls for the – and maybe he is, right? Maybe he is. Maybe that's the case. But if that is the case, that by starting this quarterback, your offense is going to work at a different pace than it has in the past, this leads to where I was going with point two. Why did it take this long to get to that point, right? Why did it take this long to get to this point? When you're sitting here saying the way we run this offense under Baker is different than we've ever done it before, and we wanted to give the guys time to build chemistry, then why, when all of us knew Baker was the quarterback, certainly last week, some of us were calling that shot 3 weeks ago, why did you just do it now instead of giving these guys the extra 2 weeks of practice time in the preseason to get that pace down?
I think that's a question we'll never get an answer to. But also, if you look at the only time we've seen them play, that first preseason game, there's a big difference about how the offense looked when Baker was out there. I mean, they were moving quick. They were getting down the field. You didn't see that with Sam Darnold. Even though he was throwing short passes, it just seemed like it took forever for him to read the defenses and all that kind of thing. Baker got out there and got it done. Yeah, he fumbled one snap. But other than that, he got them down the field pretty quick.
I agree. So, I just, like I said, it's weird to make it sound like he's changing the pace of the offense. It's more weird to make it sound like he's changing the pace of the offense and you let this go that long before you made the decision to call it. I don't know. Clip 1A. We'll get a couple more in here before we go. Clip 1A, this is Baker Mayfield. Obviously, there are some reporters who were trying to hit on, is it going to be awkward with you and Sam in the same locker room now? Baker and Sam both addressed that. Here's Baker Mayfield to start off.
Yeah, obviously, Sam and I knew this day was going to eventually come. But we weren't counting down the days. We didn't know when it was going to happen or anything like that. So I just this morning was made aware that I was going to be starting, and saw Sam shortly after. He made it very clear that anything I needed in support or in terms of that aspect, he was going to be there, and that just shows what kind of team guy he is. Honestly, just an unfortunate circumstance that we're both here in the same year fighting for a job, but that's the kind of guy he is. He said whatever you need in support, he's just trying to win games, and that's the mentality we've had the whole time. So I truly appreciate that, and he's a great guy.
I mean, what else is he going to say? Screw you, Baker!
What I said was, in your face.
Yeah.
Sam, I knew I was going to win. You packed yet, Sam? You packed?
The way Bake handled himself when he got introed to the Charlotte media, that's not what that guy did. All right? I think Bake, I got to tell you, we talk all the time about, change of scenery and getting humbled up a little bit. I mean, it's very early in Baker's Panther career, but based on the way he acted when the trade happened, based on the way he acted when he showed up in Charlotte, and based on the way he was acting around people at Wofford, I kind of think Baker's like, at least on the surface, looks like the best example of, yeah, this guy got it. He got humbled up a little bit, and he understands what he needs to do to get to the next level.
Or he's the chip on the shoulder guy, which we already know he is, and he knows what the narrative that's been painted about him by Cleveland and by certain members of the media, and he decided, I'm in commercials. I'm a pretty good actor. I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to do the exact opposite of what they say I am, and I can be anything I want to be, but they're going to eat their words because they can't say I'm immature. They can't say all these things they were saying. I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to show them with class.
That might be right.
And the whole time laughing.
That might be right. Let me get to one more Baker clip. Then I'll get to the Sam Darnold clip later on in the show. Let me get clip 1C. One of the things that we have all talked about is Baker's personality, charisma, leadership, braggadocio, as some people have labeled it. You know the Baker we're talking about, right? The Baker that in warm-ups is, you remember that clip, Zoe, where in warm-ups he came sliding into the end zone and then spun around on his knee to take pictures of, who was it, Jarvis Landry or whoever. It was like the slickest, sweetest move I've ever seen from a quarterback.
You mean he was having fun?
Yeah, the audacity.
You're not supposed to do that. I mean, come on.
Audacity.
Be serious.
So they basically asked him, now that you're the guy, clip 1C, now that you're the guy, now that you're in charge, are we going to get that Baker Mayfield back? And here is how the professional answered it.
Yes and no. Like, off the field, was still having fun with the guys, messing with people. But when it came to on the field, at Wofford, I kind of mentioned it, had to learn to do my job first and foremost, learn that offense. And obviously, there's still room to grow, but continue to do that before can really go out there and enjoy it. And, when things aren't moving 1,000 miles an hour, it's a lot more fun. So we're just trying to handle, the hard part of getting everything down first before letting the personality and stuff come out. But, the passion's going to come out regardless on the field just because we're competing. And I love playing this game of football. I truly enjoy it. And so that side of me is always going to come out.
I mean, what else could you ask for, right? Dude's like, yeah, that's me. That guy's going to be here. But I wanted to be a good teammate first. I wanted to learn the offense. I wanted to get the speed of the game. I wanted to get the pace of the offense. I wanted these guys to trust me. I wanted this and I wanted that, and all of it was pro team. He says, look, I'm still Bake. I'm still going to show up and be Bake. I'm still going to show up and put on a show. That's what I do. But I wanted to make sure the team was good before I started acting a fool. Look, I know that you can't truly know a guy, right, until you see his actions. We've all worked with that guy who talks a big game, but then when it's time to go nose to the grindstone, he just doesn't show up. All
right, I don't see any difference because all the clips that we've seen in training camp was all the other guys messing with him and him messing back. Those showed up, pranking each other, having fun. Yeah, he's been serious on the field, but how has he been anything other than serious when he's been out there playing? That dude does his best out there playing injured and all the things that he did last year. But what did he do to hurt his team? I don't recall anything on the field that he did to hurt his team. And
No, I don't either.
Yeah. So I don't get the label.
I agree with that. I think that, and we talked about that before he was a Panther, right? This isn't Robin Lonzo hyping up the starting QB for the local town club, right? We were talking about this when the trade talk out of Cleveland started. When they started talking about him getting out of C-Town and folks were piling on, we were both like, I don't know, man. Like, the kid likes to have fun. The audacity of a kid liking to have fun playing a child's game, right? Can we just call it what it is? It's a kid's game, and he likes to have fun doing it. I got no issue with that as long as he's performing. And again, the Browns were 1-15 when they drafted him, and they made the playoffs with him. I think he's had enough success to justify having fun playing a child's game. Let him be. I'll tell you this. I can't wait to see the guy on the field. I can't wait to see what he looks like in the silver and blue. I can't wait to see how he constructs this offense. But as far as I'm concerned, this dude is saying and doing all the right things. Now I just need him to play football. He is acting like a pro. Now I just need him to play football. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. Got some more thoughts on Baker Mayfield being named the starting quarterback for your Carolina Panthers. We're going to talk about that very briefly. Got a few more stories, but a kid, yesterday we talked about the Little League World Series, and I said that the entertainment value, not necessarily the quality of baseball, but the kids being entertaining is the reason to watch. Yesterday, one of them made ESPN blush. And it was amazing. I'll share that with you coming up in this hour of the show. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Stay tuned, kids. Be right back. Don't go anywhere.
All right, I have a major complaint. Tried to play Icelandic jazz on the Alexa in the bathroom, and it couldn't find any Icelandic jazz. What is the world coming to when you can't play the music you want to play? Then I tried spoken word songs just because I've never really, I think Henry Rollins did like spoken word songs. And instead it played Little Yachty. And I thought he was a rapper. So I stopped that too. And had to go with, the old standby 80s music because, I am the 80s. Keegan, I saw that, the headline to that article and never actually read the article. Is it worth reading? I don't know. Can't figure out why this daggum thing's frozen. So I haven't quite gotten it live yet, but it's kind of freaky.
What's that? Oh.
Because it just froze. I don't know.
Buffering.
Okay. We're almost recent because Rob just sat down. Speaking of almost recent. And we're back.
And we're back. It had to be Baker, right? It had to be. Sam had us crack last year. He started hot. Once teams got some film on him and Rule's offense, it slowed up. Baker did the same things in Cleveland. Rashad Beard a couple of weeks ago mentioned that, he was anti-Baker. He said, if you switch Sam and Baker last year, he thought the results would work out the same in both directions. Now he's on Team Rob. That's not true. Baker's a better quarterback, right? When it came down to it, Baker's just a better quarterback. That's all there is to it, man. And that's not a shot at Sam Darnold. Baker's just a better quarterback. It had to be Baker. What aspect of the game is Baker not better at, right? I mean, I know that there were spots in Seatown, in Believeland, where there were some pretty awkward videos coming out, right? Between Baker and his wide receivers. There was one clip I remember, and I don't know what game it was after, or I guess I should say during. But Baker throws a touchdown pass. I want to say it was to Jarvis Landry. Baker throws a touchdown pass. The team is celebrating in the end zone. Baker runs down there, and he's just kind of behind the wide receivers. And the two wide receivers are walking off the field together. And Baker walks up behind him, and he slaps them both and gives them the old good game pat. And they kind of look back at him, But then they put their heads back forward and keep walking. And Baker's like, hey, man, I just want to tell you I love you guys. And then walks away. It was just really awkward, right? But we also know that there was a lot of diva mentality from some of the receivers in Cleveland, right? There was a lot of diva mentality with OBJ. Let's call it what it is. Guy's incredibly talented, but a lot of diva mentality. I'm
OBJ, what teams he play for?
Yeah. There was a lot of, I'm a bit, as a Saints fan, a bit apprehensive about Jarvis Landry in New Orleans, right? Because between Mike Thomas, Chris Olave, and Jarvis Landry, I don't know if there's going to be enough balls to go around for Jarvis to be happy there.
Yeah, he's going to be unhappy because Olave is going to catch all the balls.
Yeah.
Because that dude's always open.
You got slant god Mike Thomas and the speed demon Chris Olave.
Yeah, but the diva, I guess receivers are the biggest divas on the field, so they're going to be that way.
Sure. But the point is, I think that a lot of people took the easy way out of saddling all of that drama on Baker Mayfield, and that kind of became what the media-driven narrative about Baker was. And listen.
It divided the locker room, and it appears that a lot of the media sided with
the locker room
with OBJ.
Yeah.
And why? Why did they? Because a lot of the media are ex-receivers. That has a lot to do with it.
Is he your nephew too?
Yeah.
Mike?
Oh, that was so
What
cold.
a burn. I don't know who it was because I didn't see it, but Lonzo told me that.
I think Amber something. I want to say Stevens. I can't remember her name. I had heard her on the air before. I had never seen her, and it was yesterday.
Was it Wilson?
It could have been. She has like anime eyes. I mean, it's just they're really big.
I got nothing.
It's not a bad thing, but she was on the show yesterday, and she said that to Keyshawn Johnson, who was. It was so bad. Is he your nephew too?
Who was he
talking
defending?
about?
Who was he defending?
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett.
And there was silence. You and I both know about that awkward radio silence. That is not people forgot what they were saying. It's just everyone's really mad or completely stunned. Hopefully after the silence, there's a bunch of laughter, but in this case, they just kind of moved on.
Is he your nephew too? What a line. What a line to drop on Mike. Anyway, I agree. I think a lot of the media sided with Odell, and there's 1,000 different reasons why they would have, right? But part of the reason is it's kind of accepted to bash down on cocky quarterbacks, right? Like, for whatever reason, there's this expectation that QBs are supposed to have this business mentality, that they're supposed to be the buttoned-up ones. They're supposed to be the suit and tie guys on the sideline. They're supposed to be the guys that take it seriously all the time. And Baker's not that guy, right? And I get it, because if you're losing games, it's easy to drop the narrative of, oh, well, if that guy would just take it more seriously, right? Is he putting in the work? Is he putting in the effort if he's out there having fun? Which is, I think, a little bit lazy, right? You can have fun and be really good at your job. Exhibit A, me and Lonzo. We have a blast doing the show. We're also pretty good at it, right? So I think that a lot of folks sided with the media because it is easy to bag on a QB who's having fun when you're not winning, except for Baker was winning too, right? Like, that was the other aspect of it, was Baker took a 1-15 team, improved them exponentially.
They seem to be overly happy that he was struggling last year, even though he was dealing with injuries.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know, man. I just I didn't get the narrative. I didn't like the narrative. I didn't love the narrative. I think the narrative was frankly a little lazy. And I'm not sitting here trying to convince you that Baker Mayfield's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. I will tell you, he's an upgrade from what you had last year. He's an automatic upgrade from what you had last year, even with less time to learn the offense. But I guess that was the other point of my complaint in the last segment. Why did you wait so long to name Dude the starter when you yourself came out and said we wanted to give him time, right? We wanted to give him time. We wanted to give him time to get on the same page with the offensive line, to build that chemistry with the running backs, to build that chemistry with the wide receivers. Then why did you wait till week 3 of the preseason, right? We could all see at Wofford during camp that he was the better option. But then you trotted him out. You gave him 1 series in the preseason game against the Washington Commanders. Bum, 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 bum. And then you didn't play him in preseason game number 2. And from what I understand, reading up on practice reports since Wofford, from what I understand, you had them splitting first team reps. If it was that important to you to give Baker time to get the patterning down, to get the execution down, why was he splitting snaps with a guy that we all knew was QB2 in the QB1 spot? It doesn't make sense. And those are, frankly, the kinds of decisions that I feel like Matt Rule has made that have put him in the situation where he's kind of coaching for his life at this point. But the decision's been made. He's got his guy in there, and they're set. Let's do this. Let's take a break. Chris on the Facebook stream, facebook.com/thefanupstate, or go to YouTube, search and subscribe to the Rob Brown Show YouTube channel, and you can watch all 3 hours of the show, go behind the scenes, and as Chris just did in the stream chat, ask questions that we can answer on or off the air as apropos. Chris said, can you give your opinion of the NFC South as a whole? Yep, sure can, and I'll do that when we come back. We'll talk Bucks, Saints, Panthers, Falcons when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Absolutely, Chris. Stay tuned to the next segment, and I will happily do that.
All right. All my stations just disappeared on my rock thing. It's ROC. Hendricks and I were having a conversation yesterday about how we should call it when we're talking about it. It's where you put in chapters and
send out notifications.
And also put together the on-air schedule.
Yep.
Which I started doing yesterday. Now it says no stations to display. Well, I just had 2 stations 5 minutes ago. Maybe I should sign out and sign back in. Really?
Hello, this is one login voice. After the beep, enter the digits you see on the screen, followed by the hash sign. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Laters. Hey, I still don't have stations. Okay.
Zach in here lying on the stream.
You're spreading your evil there, Doth.
In here shilling, man.
So nobody else has been able to do this except for me and Tim Holcomb.
What's that? The
So-
chapters thing?
Yeah, so what I think is happening is they're fixing everybody else's and breaking mine, because that's usually how that works. They're clear and concise and orderly in everything they do. It's good to be working, though, isn't it, Keegan?
Usually depends on what time of day you ask me.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
In the mornings, absolutely. When I'm on the air, absolutely. I love to be working. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate. YouTube. Search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show. Go behind the scenes. Watch Lonzo and I do the show live all 3 hours. We're like animals in the zoo, but by choice. You weirdos can just stare at us the whole time. But you can also pop questions into the chat. We have conversations off the air that we would never have on the air. What was yesterday's? Last Friday's was Bigfoot, Ghost, and the Paranormal. That was good times. Keegan's getting philosophical up in here today. Just a day, man. Just a day. Join in on the stream. You can leave your comments, go behind the scenes. Christopher popped in a minute ago. Chris said, can you give your opinion of the division as a whole? Sure, I can. First place, Tampa. Second place, New Orleans. Third place, Carolina. Fourth place, Atlanta. Tampa Bay is still Tampa Bay. You don't have to like it. You do have to accept it. This division belongs to Tampa Bay right now. Now, that is not to say they're unbeatable because, remember, The Saints
Offensive
are
line. Offensive line.
Yep, they're banged up. They're already missing some pieces, but they're banged up. It's a division that's going to have a really good set of defensive lines in it. New Orleans' defensive line, led by Cam Jordan, is exceptional. Carolina's defensive line is exceptional. Atlanta's should be pretty good. That's 6 games that the weakest part of Tampa's offense is going to match up with the strongest points of the defenses they're going to be playing, no doubt. That being said, it is still Tom Brady. He does still have Godwin. He does still have Evans. He does still have Fournette. They got weapons, and they got Tom Brady distributing the football to said weapons. They're going to be fine. The only question is, how much of an impact does the switch from Arians to Bowles have on the offense, right? Arians is known as the QB whisperer. But here's the thing. If there's a quarterback in the league that don't need to be whispered to, it's Tom Brady.
You know, maybe he does. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe he absolutely does need someone in his ear keeping him in check a little bit. And I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think for the first time ever, he's going to have a head coach that's just going to let him go. And we're going to see what happens then. And I think he may be having some problems.
If you are looking for a reason to believe that Tom Brady's going to fail this year, that's a good one. If you are looking for a reason to believe that Tom Brady is going to fail, that is a good hypothesis.
By the way, obviously everyone knows my disdain for Tom Brady. My opinion as far as that goes has nothing to do with my bias against him. Think of the coaches he's had. He's had Belichick and he's had Arians. Both Arians flat out called him out in the media a couple of times. And you could tell Brady did not like that. I don't think Todd Bowles is going to do that to him. He let him take, how long did he take off?
11 days.
You think Arians would have let him do that?
Yes.
No, I do
Yes,
not.
I
I do not. Arians would not have let him do that.
I absolutely do.
Belichick would not have let him do that.
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, if I asked you to bet a paycheck on it, who wins the NFC South this year?
New Orleans.
I like it. I'm not picking that.
Yeah, I Tampa Bay is in trouble. They've got line problems, and I do think there are going to be some players, if they struggle a little bit early, are going to go, we wouldn't have had to struggle if Tom Brady would have been here like he was supposed to be, like we were. There's nothing like working a bunch of extra hours because someone just decided to call in. There's that feeling of whether you like the person or not, you start to not like them because you know how hard you're working and they're not, and they think they're privileged and they can get away with not being here whenever they decide not to be.
You and I both
Especially
know,
if you're a young guy. Doesn't care about your name.
You and I both know that there are people who have earned that position in the eyes of the people who have the authority to change it. Don't tell me for a second, Zoe, that there aren't guys in this building who get away with stuff that would get you and I canned in a heartbeat because they crank out incredible numbers. You and I both know that's true. And that's true of every radio station and bank and insurance company I have ever worked for. When you are popping off championships, if you want extra weeks of vacation,
those are the guys that we discuss.
100%.
Off air.
100%.
Right. And we have a problem with them.
And you and I talk smoke about it,
right,
and we're upset
right.
about it, and we don't like it, and you know what's going to change? Not a damn thing.
But we don't work directly with them. If we did, I mean, of course, I have problems where people just call off and things happen, and I end up having to work really long days. But that's fine.
Right, but in the situation we're talking about, you're talking about the backup left guard, right? If I cranked in here and we're in a 1 million person market and I had 750,000 daily listeners, you don't think I couldn't call for an extra week of vacation here and there? And they'd be like, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Of course they would.
By the way, Daniel in the stream says, drinking in the morning is bad. Lonzo, Bucks are too talented to lose the NFC South. Yeah, you're right. That's where Brady was, drinking in the morning. Brady was on a bender like he was, after the Super Bowl, and he needed some time to recover. Who knows? Maybe he went to rehab. He could have. He probably needs it, so maybe that's where he was. And they're just keeping it hush-hush.
I won't stand for the slander. I just won't.
So you don't think it's a possibility?
That Tom Brady was in rehab?
Yes.
No.
So you don't think it's a possibility?
No.
When you
Tom
throw
Brady got
the
drunk
Lombardi Trophy
one
across the water, you have a problem and you need to get help.
No.
And maybe he did. You know, if he did, good for him.
Brady got drunk one time. If Brady needed rehab, I need a full-ass blown intervention. All right? By the way, real quick, to address that take from a man who dropped that, Daniel, drinking in the morning is bad, Lonzo. Bucks are too talented to lose the NFC South. In 2020, the New Orleans Saints beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice in the regular season. In 2021, the New Orleans Saints beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice in the regular season. No, they're not too talented to lose the division. It has happened under Brady.
By the way, Daniel, I don't drink. I never have. I don't need that. I'm crazy enough.
I do. Hashtag Team Mimosas. All right. But we are not on mimosas this morning. That's a Saturday, Sunday, fun day situation.
You're not? Okay. So there's something different for during the week, apparently.
It's just water. All right.
Allegedly.
It's just water. Anyway, they are not too talented to not win the division. All right. Granted, it was with Drew Brees. But in the past 2 years, the Saints are 4-0 in the regular season against Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Right? But it is Tampa's division. Where does Carolina fit in? I think third. I don't think they are as talented as the Saints yet. I think that could change in the next year or two as the Saints kind of start to have to pay the mortgage. But right now, it's Tampa 1, New Orleans 2, Carolina 3, Atlanta 4. You're better than Atlanta. I'll give you that.
Mariota was tearing it up last night, man.
He actually had some moments. He really did. We'll talk more about that. But when we come back, a Little League World Series player embarrassed the hell out of ESPN last night, and it was amazing. I've got the incredible audio for you next on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Keegan, that's why nobody asked you, buddy.
You're just looking out, Keegan. I appreciate it. He may not, you know.
I love being told.
Other people are saying they need interventions.
Yeah, if Tom Brady having some avocado tequila on a boat is cause for an intervention.
Some.
If Tom Brady getting
where does
loaded,
some and too much? Thank you. Dude couldn't walk. I mean, you know.
We've all been there.
No, we all have not.
Those of us that imbibe in the sauce have all been there. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're not a good parent. It just means you had a really good day.
By the way, those are general statements that you're making because it can make you a bad parent.
I didn't say
and
it doesn't.
it can make you a bad person. It absolutely can.
Sure it can, but it doesn't.
If, let's say, you have no control of yourself and you do it in front of a worldwide audience, maybe you need some help. Maybe an intervention.
Or
maybe a little 11 days in rehab.
Or
maybe that, you know. maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't particularly care what anybody else thinks about me.
Who's talking about you? We're talking about Tom Brady.
If the Saints make it back to a Super Bowl, Lonzo's not allowed at my victory party.
That's fine. I want to go anyway. I bring everybody down because I don't drink. So I don't know any of that, Daniel. I'm just speculating. And while speculating, people are very defensive about Tom Brady. I don't know why. I don't get it. Do I want him to fail utterly this season and it be his final season? Yes, I do. I very much so want to see that happen. Some of it stems from where he played college football. Others of it stems from the American need to see someone on a pedestal be dropped on their head.
The American need.
I can't speak for other countries. I don't live there. So, you know. If someone were to ask him in a press conference if he was in rehab, do you think they'd ever be in another press conference again? What are you professionals at, though? Is like, I don't know. Oh, come on. I thought something else crashed. Thank you, Cool Edit, for not crashing. Even though you really wanted to. So what happens? I slam Tom Brady on the air and everything breaks.
Tom Brady is listening. Tom Brady is the man that you always claim is in on it.
If Tom Brady was Big Brother, I would not be concerned because his eyes will be watery and red from drinking so much he wouldn't be able to even see me right now. So I'd be fine. Sot. Drunken sot.
We're all learning what Lonzo really thinks of me, ladies and gentlemen. That being said, I have never thrown the Lombardi Trophy, so.
If you did, you might have a little kink in the shoulder right when you get ready to
really
and there it goes. Then you'll be spinning that.
It's like when I threw out that first pitch, or was it last year? I threw out that first pitch and my shoulder hurt for 2 days after.
Was that last year or was that 2 years ago? I don't remember.
It popped up on my Facebook the other day, but I don't remember when. I know that you don't know what this means, but Daniel is spot on accurate. There's a restaurant called McGuire's. It's an Irish restaurant and bar down in Pensacola and Destin. They have a big moose head on the wall. And the tradition is if it's your first time or it's your birthday, you got to climb up on a chair and kiss the moose.
Well, first time there?
Kiss the moose, kiss the moose, kiss the moose, kiss the moose, kiss the moose. Yeah.
Can you, like, disinfect it first?
No. Let's get kiss the moose. Roll the dice, buddy.
You guys are weird.
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Good morning, y'all. Welcome in. Great to be with you. I am Rob Brown. 7 hours of me today because I'm filling in for Diesel on Offsides with Mark Ryan. Feel free to send me your tweets on that show. I will have fun with them. Looking forward to it. But you still got 2 more hours of me here alongside the great one, Lonzo. He's the one answering your phone calls at 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663. We're both reading your text on the Preferred Home Services text line. It's 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N.
I know this would be frowned upon, but I've got to ask this. We were having a conversation on the stream, which you should watch the stream because we have excellent conversations about kissing a moose.
Kiss the moose, kiss the moose,
So,
kiss the moose, kiss the moose.
You know, when you kiss the moose, you kissed everybody who's ever kissed the moose.
If you've been with the moose, you've been with every person that moose has been with.
Exactly. And you're okay with that.
You know, some of us just enjoy our avocado tequila, Lonzo.
So you're saying Tom Brady would for sure kiss the moose
Tom
and
Brady
probably
would
already
totally kiss
has.
the moose.
He would have people raise him up to
You know
kiss the
what?
moose.
I'd be willing to bet he has, because the Andrews Institute, which is where a lot of the NFLers go to get their rehab or get their surgery and do their rehab and all that.
Rehab? What kind of rehab?
Stop it. The Andrews Institute is right by McGuire's, home of the moose you must kiss. That is correct. I want to get to this. Grab me clip number 2 real quick, Lonzo. This clip's a little bit long. It's about a minute and some change. This happened yesterday during the Little League World Series. There was a game taking place in the Little League World Series. A team from Iowa was taking on a team from Washington. We're at the end of the game. It's the bottom of the 6th. 2 on, 2 out. I was up by 3 at this point. And there is a call on the field of a ball that definitely was not. It was piped. Just caught the quarter, and it was called a ball. Iowa's players thought the game was over. Thought that they had won the thing, were walking off the field when the umpire called it a ball, and the AB would continue past it. Well, ESPN, who was broadcasting this game between Iowa and Washington, puts hot mics on the field, right? The managers wear them. They've got mics around the field to pick up the ambient audio, etc. And it got a little interesting. I'm going to play this, and then after it, I'm going to play a selected clip from within the clip, because it was a moment scripted out of The Office, if The Office was a series about Little League Baseball. Here's what the audio picked up on ESPN.
Half the Iowa team was off the field, or at least making a move to leave the field, but with the walk, it brings up Braden Rudolph as the tying run.
ESPN, right now. Whoever's pitching it is for ESPN, so they can come back.
Okay.
That's because ESPN likes it. All ESPN.
Hey, nothing we can do about that strike call, okay? There's 2 outs. It's any bag, okay? We got to shake that. We got to shake that. Hey, focus right here, focus right here on me. Shake it, okay? We need 1 out. Any bag. Let's go. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this.
That's a time when you have to go out there and say something, and it may have been off the play. Just because everybody else thinks it's a strike right there doesn't mean that it necessarily was. But you got to reset the minds of 12-year-olds right there. They thought the game was over. It's not. Now you got to go back to work.
And Braden Rudolph, good hitter up. Woo! And that's called strike 1. That one was more off than the ball 4.
So, the strike was a strike. It was called a ball. The game continues. There's 2 outs. You got the bases loaded. It's a force in any bag, right? And first off, credit to Iowa's manager, right? Thought he handled that great. He's like, look, can't do anything about that, right? As Ted Lasso said, what's the happiest animal on the planet? A goldfish. It's got a 10-second memory. Got to put that one behind you. We got to force in any bag, boys. All we got to do is get this guy. We're done. We're going home with a dub. But that wasn't the part of the audio that I loved the most. I mean, I did love it. I did love listening to that guy talk to his club, get these guys' heads screwed on straight. I mean, this is a life lesson, right? Sometimes you're going to get a bad call. In baseball, in business, in relationships, in life. Sometimes somebody's going to make a judgment call against you that's wrong and bad, and your only option is to recognize, you know what? I got more ways to get out of this. I got ways to get out of this. Thought it was great. But what I loved was the first baseman on this team. And I wish I knew his name because I love this kid. I love this kid. This kid decided on the fly to come up with a wholesale conspiracy theory in order to make his pitcher feel better. Here's the little clip within the clip that caught my attention. This is clip 2A, if you don't mind, Lonzo. Here is this kid coming up with a conspiracy theory to console his pitcher.
Whoever's pitching is for ESPN so they can come back.
Okay.
That's for because ESPN likes it. All ESPN.
Hey.
That kid's amazing. Walked straight to the pitcher. Did not hold up, did not slow up. Walked up and was like, hey, that's for ESPN. Whoever made that call works for ESPN. They did that so that they could come back. He's like, yo, they want us. We are must-see TV on the 4-letter. The 4-letter orchestrated that call so that the game would go on. They could get a tie game and come back for more. Look, I don't think that kid's right, but I don't care. I loved it.
He's definitely right. It's a work without a doubt.
I love it. I'm willing to adjust headcanon to make it where that kid's correct.
That kid's...
One.
I had a long day yesterday. I'm going to put him on that. That kid's going to go far. That's all. That's what I was going to say.
I love that kid. I freaking love that kid.
I hit the board kind of hard.
You did.
I don't normally do that.
You did. Usually get mad at me for doing stuff like that. I love this kid. The manager's coming out. There's very clearly a bit of controversy, right? There's very clearly a little bit of drama unfolding. You're in a spot now where you got 2 outs, a 4th-inning bag, but the tying run is at the dish. One swing of the bat, we go level, we go on. In order to make his pitcher feel better. How else do you make the pitcher feel better except to go, hey, man, all you can do is throw a strike. You threw the strike. You didn't get the call. Right? You don't want that guy, that pitcher, that kid getting in his head and being like, okay, I can't do anything right, right? You don't want him getting in his head like, did I do something wrong? Did I upset the ump? Did I upset somebody to not get that call? You cannot allow that kid to get into his own head. And the first baseman recognized that. He's like, how can I get him out of his head? How can I make him realize that he just threw a perfect strike that should have sent us back to the dugout with a dub? I got it. 100% conspiracy theory. Hey, boss, don't worry. That was a K. You know it was a K. I know it was a K. We all saw it was a K. But ESPN got in there and manufactured the ball so that they could push this game deeper, get us back on TV, because we are must-see television at this point. I mean, it's fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. I love it. Give me the kid that's like willing to dive head first into tinfoil hat territory to keep his pitcher's head screwed on straight. And while he's on ESPN, and he knows he's on ESPN, he knows that game is being broadcast nationally, and he is willing to go after the 4-letter to get it. Lonzo, what are the odds in professionally broadcasted sports, right? Whatever sport's on TV. What are the odds that at some point, at some time, somewhere, outcomes are manufactured for the sake of television drama? 1%, 0%, 50%, 100%, it's definitely happened.
So this is, do I think it's happened ever?
Yeah.
Ever?
Do you think television networks have ever been able to successfully dictate events on a field in order to generate television drama?
By the way, Rob, if you're watching Rob on the stream, he's not winking. He's got a twitch. I'm going to go with 100%.
It's definitely happened.
Yes, I believe it's happened, especially early on. As far as early on in TV and early on in sports, for sure. Because back then, you didn't have as many camera angles. You didn't have as many people watching behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff, and you could get away with more then. Now it's a little more difficult.
Texter said, was that Lorenzo's kid that was explaining the conspiracy theory? Oh, man.
My son at that age would have definitely done that. So, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Seb said, is that kid face or heel? That kid's a face. That kid's a face. You know why that kid's a face? That kid recognized, I got to come up with a way to get my picture out of his head, right? He's in his head now. Because as far as he's concerned now, the strike zone is a pinhole at this point, right? The strike zone at this point is the size of a baseball, and it's grooved down the center of the pipe. I got to get him out of that. I got to make him to where he's unafraid to go dance on the edge of the plate again and get this last K. I got to get him there. How can I do that? What can I come up with? And what he came up with was the 4-letter has manufactured that call to justify keeping us on television because we're must-watch TV. Don't worry about it. Go get this guy. And he was willing to put himself and his team in the crosshairs of the 4-letter by making them look like the bad guys, like they are the man. ESPN is now the they in all of the they are coming after us theories. And I love it. That kid is literally the biggest face on sports and television yesterday, without a doubt.
Did they win?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If they would have lost, that would have been a problem.
Yeah. The kid got caught in a rundown like one batter later. They tagged him out for out 3. So they end up winning. If they lose that game, absolutely that kid's going on into history, right? Into history for making that call. Love that kid. I am all down for the College World Series, not because the baseball's excellent. It's Little League Baseball. I am in for the College World Series because those moments are incredible. Like a kid bombing on ESPN and coming up with on-the-fly conspiracy theories to pick his guy up. Don't worry, man. I'll be the bad guy on TV so that you can get yourself back in the right headspace. I'm here for it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's take a break. I got a couple of texts that have come in so far. One says, Rob, the Falcons will be better than most expect this season. I'm not saying they are a playoff team yet, but they may be a dark horse. I'm not, no. Defensively, you're going to be pretty good. I don't know what you're going to be offensively with Marcus Mariota. Don't believe in that. All right. Got a few more things to get into.
That being said, he looked really good last. I know it's playing the Jets. He didn't look bad. He looked efficient. And maybe that's all he needs to win some games.
Efficient against the Jets.
I know it was the Jets. I get it.
Anyway, I got some more stuff I want to talk about as the show rolls on. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. That dice case is sick.
Isn't it?
Sick.
I also showed that to you because, I think that's something
I could make that. Yep. Sure could. It could go in my man cave. She doesn't care what goes in there.
Rocking some Lenny Kravitz in the restroom. One problem I've always had, and I haven't listened to an entire Lenny Kravitz album, is that a lot of his songs you wait for him to do a killer solo, and then nothing happens. Is that because he can't do a killer solo? Is it because
he can play.
he's just teasing you?
He can
And
play.
you think he's going to take off, and then he doesn't do it. I dare you to work in interior decorator somewhere tonight.
Oh, that's an easy one. Easy one. Be my pleasure.
Can you do it multiple times without them figuring it out?
Yes, I don't know what the number is though.
believe I've had a burrito prayer.
I've had prayers after burritos.
That's true. Concert in the next break.
Okay. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Alonzo and you. Shoot us a text on the Preferred Home Services text line 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. And we'll read those on the air. We've had a couple of that have come in so far this morning. I like the one accusing Lorenzo of teaching the kids conspiracy theories after the Little League World Series, dude. I love that. I love that.
It's part of a covert class that, happens on Thursdays.
Let's see. Texter says, Rob. Oh, where'd it go? There you go. Who are you taking as starting quarterback? Drew Lock or Geno Smith? Coming from a Seahawks fan. Geno. I like Drew Lock as a dude. Like, he seems fun. He absolutely seems like the guy that, I would want to hang out with. That. Remember Drew Lock? Was it last year, the year before with Denver? There was a video of Drew Lock where he was sitting on the sidelines and they played a hip-hop song, and I don't remember what the song was, but they played a hip-hop song, and they cut to Drew Lock rapping every word of the song on the bench. And I mean, getting into it. Throwing out the hands, whipping the towel. Properly editing himself from the words he can't say. It was amazing. I'm like, I like this dude. I want to hang out with this guy. But Geno Smith's the guy. It's a bit more experience. It's a dude who's a little more consistent. I don't love the options, though, right? If you want my real answer, Seahawks fan, who just texted into the show and asked that question, you know who I would pick to start this year for the Seattle Seahawks, Lonzo?
Jimmy G.
Jimmy Garoppolo. That is exactly it. Who would I start if I was Pete Carroll? Jimmy Garoppolo. Without a doubt. I carry 3. I'd put Jimmy G out there. I'd have Geno as his backup and Drew Lock at the number 3 spot. I am telling you right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is on somebody's team this year. Now, because it is so late into the preseason, and it would take some time for him to learn a new squad, there's a better than average chance that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up on somebody's team and he'll start as the backup. Question mark's going to be, does he go to a team that already has an established starter? Or does he go somewhere that needs a starter and he just needs a week or two to get the offense down pat, right? Baker learned Ben McAdoo's offense in a month, basically. I suspect Jimmy Garoppolo would need about the same. But Garoppolo is a guy that's gone about as far as you can go without getting ringed up, right? Geno Smith nor Drew Lock is going to be the guy. It's not. Geno Smith has 37 career touchdowns, 34 career picks. Drew Lock's numbers are like 25 and 20, and neither of them has ever had a season where they've completed 60% of their passes. 60. They're effectively completing 1 out of every 2 efforts. I can't have that. Right? Seattle probably doesn't want to pay Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll be real off the top of my head. I don't know what Seattle's cap situation looks like. If they have the ability to sign Jimmy G. But, man, at this point, it is the best option. At this point, it is the best option. Jimmy Garoppolo's got to be the guy for Seattle. I'm trying to think of what other teams could bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. Cleveland can't. They got too much money in Deshaun. Unless they bring in Jimmy G for 1 year, but what are you going to do? Bring him into week 11 and then bench him for the back half of the season? And do you think Jimmy Garoppolo's going to want to sign that contract knowing he's an 11-week mercenary and then riding pine for the rest of the time? I doubt it. Jimmy G is going to be happy to bide his time until either the 49ers trade him. I do not know if he has a no-trade clause or I get to pick my destination clause. I don't believe that he does. Or until San Francisco realizes, all right, nobody is going to trade us what we want for this guy. You know, the option's going to end up having to be to cut him. Because I don't know that you're keeping him around as a backup. So they cut him, and he's going to have the option to pick where he goes. Unless he's happy to be a backup in San Francisco. But I promise you, San Francisco's not happy to pay him his contract to serve as a backup. If you think of destinations for Jimmy Garoppolo, right? If you are looking for destinations for Jimmy Garoppolo, name me a better one than Seattle right now with Metcalf and co. Where's a better landing spot for Jimmy G? It's not Atlanta. They're wrapped up in Mariota. They're not going anywhere, right? Top of your head, you got anything besides Seattle that would be a good destination for Jimmy Garoppolo, assuming the Niners cut him to get rid of his contract? Seattle's the answer, man. All right. Real quick, let me throw this in here. I don't want to make a whole segment of it. Lonzo, do me a favor. Look at what's happening on this TV for just a minute. Gentleman at a Subway Series game, Yankees-Mets, is holding a hot dog. No bun, no condiments, just the frank. This guy takes a straw, yeah? And he pushes the straw into the hot dog, about halfway. He removes the straw from the hot dog, and he eats the hot dog interior out of the straw. Then he flips the dog around. He sticks the straw into the other side of the hot dog, removes the straw, eats the hot dog meat from the straw. Then, Lonzo, he discards the straw, takes the solid but now tubular hot dog, inserts it into a beer, and uses the hollowed out hot dog as a straw for his beer. You psychopath!
Don't from what
Don't you dare say don't knock until you try it.
No. I was going to ask a question that I cannot answer, but I've heard that drinking alcohol through a straw helps you get somewhere that you're headed a lot quicker. So drinking alcohol through a hot dog, maybe it gets you there even faster.
So, the concept of drinking alcohol through a straw gets you there faster. No, it just helps you drink faster.
I thought it helped, from what I understood, it helped you get a buzz quicker.
No, only in that you're drinking more drink faster, right? You're going to finish a drink faster with a straw than going sip by sip.
What? That doesn't make sense, but
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely does. You're going to drink a drink with a straw faster.
I would
because
think it would slow it down, and
No.
that's the reason why.
No, you're going to
How
drink
does
it
the
faster
straw
with
make
a
it
straw.
faster?
Because you're reloading faster,
This is
right?
probably the biggest argument we've ever had in however long we've been here, because I think drinking straight out of the cup is faster than drinking out of a straw.
Only if you are chugging. But you don't. I was going to say you don't chug booze. You absolutely do chug beer. But
I was going to say, I could bring up some videos
if I'm at a game and I just paid $13 for 12 ounces of beer or whatever it is, I'm not going to chug that beer.
I have the answer. I know why this guy did this.
Because he's a
No.
sociopath.
I know why this guy did this. It was a paper straw. You know those straws made out of paper? They are nasty. They got a weird feel to them, and it takes away from the taste of the drink. So instead of dealing with, we use paper straws, he's like, forget that. I'm going to use a meat straw.
Listen.
You're getting so angry about this.
Liberob the Wake Warrior, the woke warrior.
Can't even say it right. He's so mad.
I'm so mad.
Paper straws are wrong.
This man should not be banned from Yankee Stadium. He should be banned from planet Earth.
What did he do that was so wrong? I don't
Use
get
the
it.
hot dog as a straw.
That's pretty inventive.
No!
It's not.
He's holding a straw. He used the straw to make a hot dog into a straw. Just use the straw, man.
See, Keegan's on my side. Keegan on the stream says I may actually use a hot dog before I use a paper straw. Paper straws are they are the texture, the feel of them. It's not right.
Let me be abundantly clear. I am not team paper straw.
Because you appear to be team paper straw.
I am team anti-hot dog straw. If you come to the lady friend and I's house and you open our silverware drawer, there is a bag, a cloth bag full of metal reusable straws. And they go everywhere with us. When we go on a hike, we bring metal straws. When we go out to restaurants, I am absolutely
Do they ever get stuck to your lip when they're just too cold?
No.
Okay.
I am team save the turtles. I am team get rid of plastic. Everyone should be issued a metal straw to take with them to use it. I am absolutely Liberob the woke warrior right here. What I will tell you right now is that if you use a straw to hollow out a hot dog, to then use the hot dog as a straw, you should be fired into the sun with a cannon.
All right. See, that's a little extreme. I would say the majority of our audience, I'm going to be generalize like a lot of people do. I would say the majority of our audience would rather use a hot dog as a straw than use a paper straw.
No.
Yes.
Because the majority of our audience are not insane people in desperate need of not a therapist, but a full team of therapists. Listen, I like hot dogs. I like beer.
Really? You like hot dogs?
I like hot dogs and I like beer. You know what I don't want? A hot dog in a beer.
In the end, I don't drink beer and I don't eat hot dogs because they're for poor people.
Fine, elitist.
But if I had a choice between a hot dog and a paper straw, now I know the alternative. Now I know how to fix it. So when you're at a restaurant, just find whether it's that or like hollowed out a carrot or, whatever you need to use, you can get past the paper straw and tell the people at the restaurant who say you got to use paper straws to de-exit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking to you. I am not talking to Lonzo right now. When I say this is a promise to you, the listening audience. If Lonzo and I are ever on a remote and Lonzo hollows out a hot dog to use it as a straw, I will put $20 on the table to pay my bill, and I am leaving. I don't care if I'm in the middle of the show. I will go outside and do it on my cell phone from my car on the drive to the hospital where I'm going to try to find a mental health expert to send back to the remote that I'm not going back to because my partner in crime has lost his friggin' mind.
So while he's talking to said mental institute, they may want to have a few words with him. That's,
They'll be like, Mr. Brown, you should not be this worked up over something. And I'm going to go,
all the guys,
the man hollowed out a food item.
All the guys on the stream get it.
A drink.
They get it.
No.
Paper straws. I could have the same.
Paper straws suck. I'm not arguing with that. That is not the point here. Paper straws are terrible. There is a better way.
But if you need an alternative,
metal straws for that exact reason,
which you would not get into,
dog is not a good alternative. You psychopath.
The metal straw wouldn't be available to you inside of a stadium because you have to go through metal detectors and you wouldn't get it in.
There's this very elementary way of drinking. Just put the cup to your mouth and drink it like everybody does from the moment they're born.
Which apparently is slower than a straw. I still don't get that.
You elected to have hot dog flavored beer intentionally. You have the option of using no straw at all.
That's a great point, Keegan. Keegan says, isn't that the same as having a beer-battered brat?
No, it is not.
You know, it'd probably be a little bit harder to make a straw out of a brat, though,
Putting
because they're a
beer
little bit thicker.
into cooking your hot dog is not the same as putting a cooked hot dog into your beer. Stop it. What are we doing?
I'm glad Diesel's not here and on vacation, because he posted that on Twitter also, and he seems to be equally as upset as you are. And
Correctly so.
And I don't get it. I don't,
That guy, listen. If that guy ever has a kid, they should be taken from him by Child Protective Services the second they're born.
By the way, he's appears to be an elderly gentleman.
No!
Yeah. I don't think he was a young guy. So this is someone who put some thought into solving a problem.
There was no problem to be solved.
I guarantee you it's paper straws. And that is a problem.
Then don't use a straw. Just don't use a straw. First off, I'm watching the video. This cat is not an elderly gentleman. This dude, if he's in his 30s, it's in his early 30s. I will put the video on the screen.
I do believe
right
you said before that you have a hard time judging how old people are now because you're older now. And
the
that's,
video is on the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate.
That dude's in his 40s, man. Come on.
No
Come on.
chance.
Just from here, I can see that.
No,
At
he's
least 40s.
absolutely not.
At least 40s. Look at that.
I am.
You can't see his face. You can see the side of it, and he's got gray in the back of his hair.
No, he does not. He has a buzz cut under a plaid Yankees hat, a black members-only jacket, khakis.
40s, at least. Because, people...
He's dressed like he's in his 80s.
Exactly.
I will make fun of every aspect of this man's life.
A young guy does not dress that way unless management says he has to for photo shoots.
Yeah, he's got no management. Clearly.
Maybe
of
he
his
is
own
management.
damn life.
That guy,
Why?
that guy owns a hot dog and beer restaurant.
Why? I can't with this guy.
I wonder how effective it is. I mean, because like I said, it's probably more of a struggle to get it through there.
Because now your beer tastes like hot dog water.
All right, Lad says, I'm 38. This dude is older than me.
No.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's older.
No.
He's older.
No.
What kind of shoes has he got on? Are those New Balance?
He's wearing Jordans.
You sure they aren't New Balance?
Those are not old man shoes. Those are young dude's shoes.
I do.
That's a younger guy. That guy's in his 30s at oldest.
I see a little bit of a swoosh, but I think it might be a faux brand that he bought at the dollar store.
He is wearing Jordans with khakis. Exactly the combo I would expect from a guy who hollows out a hot dog and then drinks his beer through it. What the hell?
I can't repeat what Mike has just said, but yeah.
No, Mike, he's not your hero. And if he is your hero, you are just the number 2 Sith, is what you are.
It's kind of low. I mean, because the number 2 Sith, well, no, actually the number 2 Sith is the guy who rises up and
defeats the number 1.
Yeah,
which
okay.
I'm now terrified of Mike, who saw a dude hollow out a hot dog and use it as a straw and think, hey, that's genius. No! It's terrible. It's bad. That dude probably tortures kittens in his off time.
Oh, come on. Let's not go that far.
Unbelievable. Just, ugh. Like I said, what if you're the guy he makes eye contact with when he drinks it? How do you feel? Like, I hope I catch the next foul ball so I can throw it at this guy.
Would you, if you were sitting in front of or behind him, would you say something to him? Would you actually say something to this guy? He's not hurting anybody.
No. Listen. I do not tell people how to live their lives. I don't tell them how to live their lives in any aspect of it. Love who you want to love, watch what you want to watch, eat what you want to eat. I will judge you, however. If you use a hot dog as a straw, Keegan says, I'd ask him what the point was. You know what? That's a good question. I would ask that because do you like beer flavored like a hot dog? Is it mandatory you drink your beer with a straw? Which is weird. You just can't use paper straw in this way. Why?
If his answer was paper straws are nasty, this is how I take care of it. Would you still go off on the guy?
Yes! You know you can just put the cup to your face hole. Like, what? Watch this, Alonzo. No straw. Didn't spill a drop. I'll do it again. Watch, for the stream. Watch this. No hot dog straw. Delicious. Refreshing. And...
That worked really well for the audio medium.
Doesn't taste like hot dog! Unbelievable.
We're late. Come on.
Texas says next loss punishment for Rob. Wiener straw in a cup of
yes,
drink.
yes. You know what? Great idea because we're getting ready to do punishments for our picks, and now I got one.
Fine.
Now I got one.
Fine, but you get to use it once, and if you lose that week, you don't get to bring it back. You can put it on the table once.
You know what I think we should do? Rather, I think we should put a bunch of punishments in a thing and have to pull it out so we don't know what the punishment's going to be.
I accept that. Take a break. Back after this. You absolute lunatics. You absolute lunatics. I'm leaving this up on the stream for you to watch. Go to facebook.com/thefanupstate. Go to YouTube, search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show.
You're not, though, because you're going to have to take it down because you got a live.
I will mute the mic and let the video run. Enjoy, kids. It's on the stream. I'm going to let you endlessly watch this man drink a beer through a hot dog as penance for people like Mike. Back after this on The Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I could take it down, but since he wanted to leave it up, I'm not going to do that. But, you know, so he seems to be genuinely upset about this. I say we continue with it. We got an hour and 14 minutes. Also, since he's filling in tonight on Mark's show, please feel free to bring it up there also. I'll have to beat him in picks in order for him to have to do that, though. And I can do that. I wonder if there's a chemtrails song. Or, you know what, Keegan? I could write a chemtrails poem and he would have to recite it about his belief in chemtrails, and then I could just record it and keep it for whenever I need it. And yes, all this could come back to bite me and probably will, but I'm going to enjoy it until it does. He's so mad he's just not coming back. Yeah, but if you're using a hot dog as a spoon, do you bite part of it off to get more of a surface to use? Like maybe you're using that chili sauce that comes in a can and you just want to use the hot dog for that stuff. Which people say, oh, that's nasty. I wouldn't eat that, and everybody does. He's been gone an awful long time. He's in there splashing water on his face and just trying to understand the real reason. He's trying to understand why people just don't like paper straws, because he's really an advocate. I could tell. He's got stock in paper straws.
No, I hate paper straws. They're awful. They are terrible. But just drink from the cup.
All right, take it down before you get flagged. I don't know who owns the rights to this. We could get flagged. We absolutely could get flagged. I didn't take it down because you wanted it left up.
Yeah, because I needed you people to suffer.
No one suffered. You and Diesel are the only ones that really. Oh man, I did that Diesel thing. Ugh.
Diesel.
Ugh. Felt dirty.
Juan Soto.
Soto. So, would that be considered a straw dog? Or, I mean, what would you call that?
A crime deserving of capital punishment.
Yeah, I get all that. But what would you call it? So if you had, as an entrepreneur, which everyone knows you are, if you had the chance to make a lot of money off of using a hot dog as a straw, would you? Or is your disdain so great that you would say, no, I don't want all that money. It's a crime against nature.
I have a real problem.
You always throw money things at me, so, you know.
It's fair. If there is a market for hot dog straws, I would happily take the money off the psychopaths who would buy them. And I wouldn't feel and not only would I take it, I would spend it on the most frivolous crap I could come up with just to waste their money. Lonzo asked during the break if there was a market for hot dog straws and you had a chance to get in on the ground level, would you take it? The answer is yes. Not because I'm pro hot dog straw. I'm not. I hate this person. Right? I don't hate anybody except this guy. Right? Hate this guy. Would I get in on that market?
Rob, straw dogs, they taste like meat.
Hell yeah, I'd get on that market. You know why I'd get in on that market? Because these people don't deserve money. People who would drink out of a hot dog straw deserve nothing. I would take every red cent I could get from them, and then I would blow it on the most... I would blow it starting a paper straw company. Yeah, that's how much I hate this. It is disgusting, dude. A beer-basted brat is not the same. You cook it in the beer. And you cook the beer into the hot dog. It's still a hot dog. This, infuriating, man. Infuriating. There are many ways to eat a hot dog that I'm down with. Weird ways to eat hot dogs I'm down with. I know a guy who eats hot dogs with ketchup and mayonnaise on them. Have at. I'm not judging that.
This is not much different than having slaw in it, because slaw has mayonnaise in it.
I can't stand coleslaw,
yeah,
but if you want coleslaw on your dog, have at it. I'm not judging that. Have at it. That's all you.
As long as you paid extra for it.
If you want chili and cheese, if you want nothing, you just want a Frank and a bun, have at. I don't get it, but it's not my place. Have at. This is the only way that I will throw the flag for improper use of a hot dog. Drinking through it? Like, I might even be able to understand taking some of the beer and, like, lightly basting the beer onto the dog. I could get behind that. Take the straw, take some of the beer out of the cup, lightly sprinkle it on the dog. I could probably get behind that.
So,
but you have wasted both a hot dog and a beer.
Back in the day when you were being hazed, because we both have been hazed, in your fraternity, if this was part of the things you had to do, would you just say, I'm out, I'm not in this fraternity?
The one I ultimately joined, I would think about. And I loved my fraternity. And I loved the guys in it. I made lifelong friends. I'd have to think about it. The first fraternity that I rushed did haze us in these kind of ways. And I walked straight the hell out. I was like, nah, I'm out. I don't need you people as friends bad enough to do this thing you want me to do. I'll tell you what that was during the stream. I'm not going to say it on the air. I'll say it on the stream. I walked right out. This, for the fraternity I did join and love, I'd have to consider it. Shout out Tau Kappa Epsilon Lambda Iota chapter, by the way. Quick break, back after this. The third hour will be hot dog free. Probably. Nah, it won't. Lonzo's here. Never mind. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate.
I missed the front of the edit. I apologize.
Oh.
I would noob myself, but we don't do that here. So was this guy a face or a heel?
He's the ultimate heel. The ultimate heel. That's incredible. First time this season they've been shut out at home. That's nuts. You know who doesn't have friends? That guy drinking through a straw hot dog.
He does appear to be there by himself.
Yes, he does. Because he went to a game once, did that, and all of his buddies were like, no, dude, you're out.
No, it's because he's elderly and his wife of 50 years is no longer with us.
That dude is not elderly.
So, you know, to honor her memory, he goes to a game once a year and then he gets criticized by Rob Brown.
And rightfully so.
Heartless, man. Heartless.
Whatever.
Now I know who the guy reminds me of. He's basically dressed like the guy from Up.
Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs?
No, he's dressed like the old guy from Up.
Look, he may dress like an old guy. That guy's not old.
What is old, Rob?
I'm not going to define that. What I am going to say is you are trying to guilt me into feeling bad for making fun of a senior citizen, and I'm not.
That dude's obviously there on the AARP discount.
Is this Will Arnett that does these commercials? I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think so. I could see kind of what you would think it. And you're right.
Ah!
Yeah, if it's made political podcast things, then it is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Prisma in the first break. Have you collected yourself? You good?
Yeah, I'm back. The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I am Rob. Lorenzo on the other side of the metaphorical glass today. How about the Dodgers? We are at August 23rd. And a baseball team, Lonzo, has lost 4 games all month long. They've lost 4 games this month. Oh, and by the way, they have been shut out at home 1 time. Happened last night. They have been shut out at home 1 time this year. They lost 4 games so far this month. And I'll be real with you. There's no games coming up that I see them losing either. They've got a 10 o'clock matchup with the Brewers tonight. Now, I told you they've lost 4 so far this month. 3 of those 4 have been to the Brewers. 3 of the 4 have been to the Brewers. The other one came at the hands of, because reasons, the Kansas City Royals, ladies and gentlemen.
A wonderful team that doesn't get enough credit.
No reason. No reason to drop that in there. Just saying. They have got another one today with the Brewers and then tomorrow with the Brewers. Then they wrap up August with a 4-game series against Florida. They should go 4-0. Then what might be the most interesting series in this entire month, a 3-game set to round out the month at the Mets. Who, by the way, you know how bad the Yankees have been since the All-Star break? The Yankees got the Mets yesterday in Subway Series game number 1. They got the Mets yesterday. The Yankees are now 8 games up in the AL East. Remember, at one point, it was double that. They were at 16. Going into the break, they were at 16. It's down to 8. As the Rays and the Jays have both been surging. The Mets lead over the Braves is down to 3. The Mets did take 2 from a Phillies team that absolutely choked in that series, which does not help Atlanta at all. If the Phillies finish off the Mets in the 2 come from behind victories that they allowed New York, the Braves are a game off the pace in the division right now. Jacob deGrom was scheduled to go this evening against the Yankees. I do not know why, but he is unavailable. He will not pitch tonight. So, hopefully for Braves fans who are Yankees fans tonight, you've got to hope that deGrom not pitching tonight and the Yankees' bats opening up a little bit for the first time in ages yesterday is going to shrink that lead down. The Braves had a much closer game than you'd like yesterday, winning 2-1 over the Phillies. Michael Harris Jr. went yad on a 2-run shot, proved to be the game winner. So the lead sits at 3 now for the Mets over the Braves. The Braves are at the Pirates again tonight and tomorrow. Got a 7:05 first pitch today and 12:35. A nooner tomorrow against the Pirates to wrap up that series. Then they go on to a 3-game set against the Cardinals. They should take at least 2 out of 3 in that one. You'd like to see them sweep the Rockies at home on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then they've got a 3-game set against the Marlins, 2 against the A's, 3 against the Mariners, 3 against the Giants to get to the middle of September. The Mets have arguably the easiest schedule, maybe in the entire National League, certainly in the NL East the rest of the way. But the Braves have collapsed that lead and don't exactly have a murderer's row ahead of them. The Cardinals series should be interesting, but they should be able to beat the A's and the Rockies and hopefully not drop one all the way through. We'll find out. But damn, the Dodgers are good right now. Like, really good right now. In the American League, the Astros lead the way for the overall AL. Out of the AL West, they have won 78 games. They are at 11.5 games clear of the Mariners. 66 wins for the Mariners. They are 11.5 games back. In the Central, the Cleveland Guardians lead that division, but they are only a 64-win team. They are 2 games clear of the 62-win Twins and 3 games clear of the 62-win White Sox, who have got to fire Tony La Russa, who managed them out of yet another win. Lonzo, you catching the Z's over there, buddy? Doing your best La Russa impression?
I'm ready to send in a pinch runner.
And the Yankees lead the way in the AL East, second place in the AL overall, 75-win team. As we mentioned a minute ago, their lead was 16 games at one point. It's down to just 8 over a suddenly surging Tampa and Blue Jays team. Remember, I thought Tampa was a 100-win team this year. They are not going to get there. But Tampa Bay was the most injured team in baseball this year, and the Blue Jays are starting to come back alive. I thought the Blue Jays at the beginning of the year might be a threat to win this division. They're 8.5 back of the Yanks right now. But again, the Yanks are playing poorly, and they're not. Over in the National League, the Dodgers are the best team in the NL and probably the best team in baseball right now. They are 84-37 and have a 17.5 game lead over the Padres. Remember, the Padres have officially lost Fernando Tatis Jr. for the season due to that PED violation. I have not checked the television numbers of baseball to confirm if Fernando Tatis Sr. was correct that millions of baseball fans would stop watching because Fernando Tatis Jr. can't play. Anyway, 84 game winners are the Dodgers. The Mets sit on a 79-45 record. They are clear of the third best team in the NL, the Atlanta Braves, by 3 games, 76-48. The NL Central is led right now by the St. Louis Cardinals, who are 70-51 and hold a 5-game advantage over the Milwaukee Brewers right now. I think that was pretty much done. The Cardinals are going in as a divisional winner. The Dodgers are going in as a divisional winner. The only question is, are the Mets? Historically, the Mets collapse down the stretch. Historically, the Mets fall apart down the stretch. We are officially down the stretch. And they have not collapsed yet, though they did give up a 13-game lead and allow the Braves to turn it down to 3. And the Braves are getting better right now. The Braves are getting better right now. Are the Mets? I don't know that they're getting better. I do know that they've been pretty good. Let's not mince words here. The Braves are going to have to do something special if they want to catch back up to New York. The Braves are going to have to do something special. The Braves are going to have to do something talked about if they want to win the National League East again. I'll be real with you. I don't think it happens. I do not think the Braves are winning this division. It's not a shot at Atlanta. It's more of a compliment to the Mets. The Mets are good. The Mets are good. So I think it's most likely that the Mets win this division, the Braves go in as a wild card, and likely will face the Milwaukee Brewers in the opening series. Well, we'll keep an eye on that as we get closer to the end of the year. Big dinger yesterday for Michael Harris Jr. Phone lines open, 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. Preferred Home Services text lines there for you as well. 71307 is the number. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, at 71307. Texter says, can't wait until the straw hot dog punishment. Listen, I told Zoe, I am fine with at the beginning of the season taking punishment suggestions from you guys, putting them into a box, and anytime a punishment bet is made, having to pull one out and do it, regardless of what it is.
Just want to point out, I'm not the one who brought it back up. He did.
Hey, if you text it in, I read it. I'm like Ron Burgundy. If you send a text, I'm going to read it for the most part.
He leveled all that emotion off with some baseball talk.
Yeah.
Reached a certain, and then he's going right back into it.
Hey, text it, I read it.
I may or may not have requested the text line to do that while you were out of the room. I may or may not have done that.
Outstanding.
Usually when I do that, your mom tells you that I did it. So, I mean, there's that.
Can't wait till. So here's what we're going to do for football bets. And we'll start those next week. Right? We'll start those next week.
We're not going to wait till NFL?
No.
Because I thought we did a combination of college and NFL last year.
So for the first, 2 weeks? Or first week, I guess?
Yeah, because I'm getting roasted with just straight up college.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
For the first week. And now here's the thing. The way it works, for those of you who did not listen to the show last year, since we were in a different time slot at the time, every week, Lonzo and I pick 10 games against the spread. right? We pick 10 games against the spread. I try to pick tough games or games that matter, and we pick them against the spread. And we just keep score throughout the year. Nothing but pride on the line for that. But
Used to be nothing but pride.
well, here's my thought. Lonzo, do we make a loss for the week total, right? So if I go 6-4 and you go 5-5, is that a punishment? Or do we have the listeners pay, on the baseball show, for instance, punishment bets, we don't just pick a punishment game, right? Punishment bets come up when guy goes, I think X, and somebody else goes, no way, it's definitely going to be Y, and that's a punishment bet because it's an individual bet. You are both on opposite sides of the equation, right? We don't do punishment bets based on I won 7, you won 4, therefore I win and you are punished. It has to be a bet that I feel strongly about and you feel the opposite about, which means we may go through the season and only have 3 or 4 punishment bets, or do we do a weekly punishment bet based on total games won and lost in our picks? Which equates to a punishment every Monday, basically.
Let's let other people decide.
All right. I mean, we don't need to. I know what they're going to say.
Breaking news, ESPN has just reported Kevin Durant has reached an agreement with the Nets to stay in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Good run, Steve Nash. Good run. The firing of Steve Nash is imminent, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that report.
Maybe they came to an understanding.
Which is what? Durant's actually the coach. Nash just gets to look cool on the sideline?
You coach everybody else, just leave me alone.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breaking news brought to you by our friends at BetQL. Be a smarter, better. Be a better, and beat the books with our friends at BetQL. And make sure you tune in every Saturday to Bet for the Cycle, nationally syndicated baseball gambling show hosted by me, Rob Brown, and my partner, Cody Decker.
All right, so
If you missed last week, by the way, you missed me getting leg hair waxed off my leg.
which is still not nearly as bad as Cody's, but
Again, I can't help it.
It's
that
not
he's
your
got,
fault that you're not as hairy
yeah,
as him.
furry
I get
woodland
it.
creatures as a chest.
So the thing is, my concern about doing the weekly bet is losing every week, but the other concern is that we will run out of punishments.
We have a text line. We will not run out of punishments.
I would say those people are morbid and mean, but they're just like us. So
Correct.
it's not. It's just
Correct. Let's see. Texter says, fan, wait. I have the perfect punishment for the worst record at the end of the season. A Vegemite milkshake drank through a hot dog straw. You're evil. You're an evil, evil person. You're a sadist.
I just got a little nauseous.
Yeah. You haven't even eaten Vegemite. Oh, you're a sadist. You need a therapist too, man.
We might have to run that by legal. Someone might die if we did that.
Let's take a break. You know why we're taking a break on time? Because it's Tuesday. And you know what that means. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite segment of the week. Lonzo's favorite segment of the week. It is faces and heels, ladies and gentlemen. We decide in some socially ambiguous situation who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Faces and heels is next on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
We're up Extreme.
It is time for that part of the week that I hate, detest, almost as much as Rob hates hot dog straws.
It is time for Lonzo's favorite segment of the week. It is time for Faces and Heels, where we take a look at some socially ambiguous situations and try to come up with who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. This is Faces and Heels, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with this one. Young lady, 28 years old, has a boyfriend. They've been together for 9 years. They own a house together. They have dogs together. She says that they moved across the country for his job together. It's a relationship. I mean, it's a real relationship. Well, she says for the past 4 years, the boyfriend has done effectively the bare minimum for the birthday, right? Like, she says, he'll come home with like a gift that he very clearly picked up on the way home, doesn't really do anything, doesn't really celebrate it with her, just kind of like, happy birthday, babe. Here's a teddy bear holding a rose I got you on the way home, whatever. Well, she said she's basically given up on him celebrating the birthday. And so this year, she asked for one thing. She said she's celiac and loves cake, but it has to be gluten-free cake, which I understand. So she said she found a bakery in the town they live in now that makes gluten-free cakes, and she wanted a chocolate gluten-free cake for her birthday. That's all she asked for from the boyfriend. The boyfriend went to the bakery 3 days before the birthday and asked to buy a chocolate gluten-free cake, to which the baker said, I'm really sorry, can't do it. Don't have time. Backed up on orders. I got weddings. I got a bunch of other fancy birthday cakes. Those kind of cakes you got to put that order in a while ago. Boyfriend, then doing the best that he could, picks up a gluten-free vanilla cake that had already been made by the baker. Brings home vanilla cake. The girlfriend says the cake was actually good, but I'm really upset that he didn't put in the effort to get the chocolate cake that I asked for. Says she is giving him the silent treatment right now. They're not talking. She's not thinking about breaking up with him, but she's really, really mad at him and is effectively refusing to go on dates, cook dinner, hang out with him, etc., because she's upset he didn't get the chocolate cake she requested for her birthday, since that was already a compromise of, okay, we don't have to do like stuff for my birthday, but can I get a chocolate gluten-free cake? Face and heel, Lonzo.
Gluten-free, very hard to find for a lot of things, especially if it's in a smaller town. She's the heel because if she wanted specific things throughout the relationship, she should have said that. And this is the first time she asked for something specific. So she put something on him that she had never put on him before. And then when he was unable to deliver, she's punishing him because he couldn't do it, even though he put effort into it. And he could very well have come back and said, hey, they just couldn't make it. But instead, he brought home a vanilla cake, which she still could eat and ate and said it was good. If she had refused to eat the cake, maybe she's not the heel, but she ate the cake. She ate the cake. She was okay with the cake, and now she's giving him no cake.
Good line. Good line. I like it. Funny enough, I'm actually going with she's the heel here too. All right? For a couple of reasons. Number one, I will start with this. I do not, and because it's not my style, I'm not saying you're bad for it, I just don't get it. I don't get the, it's my birthday, therefore everyone has to bow down to me. I'm the king, I'm the queen for a day, right? Like I will celebrate my birthday if people want to celebrate it. But if nobody wants to celebrate it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not walking around like, hey, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. By the way, my birthday came and passed the last 2 years. And I think it got brought up on air one time here, right? Because I'm not going to push it. If somebody says something cool, I'm not going to be like, no, don't tell anybody. I don't care. But the people who are like, no, you got to do everything I want the way I want to do it. I don't get it, right?
Well,
now,
what we do is lists. So what would you like for your birthday?
No.
Make a list. I make a list. And if I get one thing off the list, then I got something I wanted.
I get it.
And it goes for every member of the family. You know, if they make us a list, we'll see what we can do.
I get it. And I respect that because you're putting your wants out there, right? I'm not a mind.
And also, you know what you're doing? You're not going to get something that you don't want.
That being said, ordinarily people like this got no problem telling you what they want to happen for their birthday, right? Ordinarily, people like this got no problem telling you what they want for the birthday. Now, she said she wanted a chocolate gluten-free cake. I got to tell you right now, I've been to bakeries. One of my dear friends, Christina, back in Fort Walton, runs a very popular bakery in Fort Walton, and I know how busy she gets, right? I know that in years past, when I've requested a special birthday cake or cupcakes or whatever, I've had to do it weeks out. Like, hey, I need this red velvet cake in June, and it's March, right? To put it on the radar.
All right, she said you wanted a chocolate cake. What if the cake was just frosted chocolate? Because what I would have done...
That's not a chocolate cake.
Is
and you know that.
I would have showed some effort, but I would have scraped the vanilla off and put chocolate icing on it myself.
Here's how she's taking it. She's taking it as he didn't put in the effort, right? Like, all I wanted was this one cake, and he didn't put in the effort to get it. Here's the thing. He went to the bakery 3 days before your birthday to ask for the cake, and they said no. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. Like, if you don't go into or know someone who knows a bakery, you don't assume 3 days isn't enough time for a basic-ass birthday cake.
Yeah, I think most people don't know how long the wait is on a cake. I mean, because you don't get them very often. So I thought 3 days sounded like plenty of time.
Yeah, I would think so. She's a heel for going bonsai on him when he explained, hey, I went in there 3 days ago. Unless he's lying about that.
He should go out to eat on his own since she won't go and eat chocolate cake in every meal.
All right, here's another one. Young lady is 27, has an older sister who's 29, and her husband named 40. Well, the sister and the husband just had their first baby a couple of months ago. And the husband of the submittor and the husband of the sister, they're these people, they like to debate each other all the time, right? Like, they like to debate each other all the time.
I do not understand that at all.
So, they debate each other because they come from different backgrounds, different life, whatever. Says they've never, fought, right? They've never fought. They've never, fist fought. They've never had yelling matches. They just like to discuss and debate. Well, she got tired of it and basically told the husband, I'm going to my sister's house. You can't come until you can just talk civilly and hold your tongue. Till you can show up and not debate the husband on everything. You're not allowed to come here. I'm going to see my sister. I'm going to see my niece. You can't be a part of that because you won't stop debating the husband. I'll go first on this one. She's absolutely the heel. And here's why. I get that some people don't like to debate, don't like to discuss things that are deeper than, oh, crazy weather we're having, huh? Right? Like, I get it.
Do those people always sound like that?
Only in my head.
Okay.
I get it. I, on the other hand, I'm the opposite way. I love discussing and debating stuff, right? And I'll give you a personal example. My grandmother and I debate stuff all the time. I love my grandmother. She's one of my favorite people in the world. But we debate stuff all the time, right? She's very old school, traditional Irish Catholic. I'm not. We debate all the time. To the point that my mom, it makes her feel uncomfortable. right? She's like, I'm uncomfortable when you guys get into that because to her, it sounds like we're fighting. But to me and my grandma, we're not fighting. We're having a discussion. It might get tense, but we're having a debate. Michael Stathakis and I literally plan to go have beers to fight each other, to debate each other. And there are people in our friend group that they don't love it, right? They're made uncomfortable by it. But here's the thing. That's just how we communicate. That's how we debate and discuss. My grandmother, I would still hug and kiss my grandmother on the cheek every time I see her, even when she calls me an idiot with rocks in his head. Direct quote, right? I will still go have beer with Stacks all the time, even though the majority of our discussions, if you don't know us, sound like we're fighting. That's how we communicate. That's how we talk and have a very healthy respect between each other. I don't think regulating how other people communicate and talk and have a social relationship with each other because it makes you uncomfortable is the right way to handle it. She's the heel.
She's the heel, but also her sister's a heel because it goes both ways. So she's blaming her husband because he always wants to fight. Debates go both ways. If not, it's just one guy yelling at another guy and the other guy's not doing anything. So whoever he's debating with, it's also their fault. Why does he have to be the one that has to be civil? Why can't they be?
I like it. You're spot on. That's 3 we agreed on so far. What is happening here?
I think I'd like to hang with your grandma.
You'd love Deanie. You'd love Geraldine Brown. She's the best. All right, here's another one.
We could team up.
You absolutely would. 27-year-old woman and her 30-year-old husband been married 3 years. They've been trying for a baby the whole time. They have not had the results yet. She has not been able to get pregnant yet. Well, her 29-year-old sister, who she loves a lot, just got pregnant. Well, she got pregnant with a dude that she met at a club. They're not in a relationship. They're basically, what do they call it? Friends with benefits. They're friends with benefits, right? They hook up, but there's no expectations of a relationship there. Well, she got pregnant and wants to keep the baby. Well, the sister is not well off. This sister, the one submitting the story, says that she works part-time hours. She lives in rent-assisted community housing. She borrows money from their parents all the time and never pays it back. She just does not have, says basically she's just not successful. She just doesn't have a lot going on for her, but has decided to keep the baby. Well, knowing that the struggles of the sister to get pregnant, the one with the husband, the one who has a job, etc., apparently the sister who got pregnant, called the sister who submitted this story over to her house. Was like, hey, come by. I'm having a little get-together. Having a little shindig with some amigos. I'd love for you to come by. Says she went by, and it turned out it was a pregnancy announcement party. She threw a party for herself to inform her friends and family that she was having a baby. The sister that submitted the story, in the midst of the party, was like, why? Why are you doing this? Number one, why are you rubbing it in my face? And number two, why are you celebrating this and throwing yourself this elaborate party when you have to borrow money from mom and dad for rent? When the dad is not in the picture and is friends with benefits who just basically was like, oh, you're pregnant, I'm out. Why are you celebrating this and rubbing it in my face when you're not ready to raise a kid and then just left and isn't talking to the sister anymore? Face and heel, Alonzo. I don't like this one.
Yeah, but
I don't like this one.
Here's another obvious one. The I don't know how to say it, the barren woman, the woman who cannot have the child. Well, I'm pretty sure it's
I get it.
Pretty sure that's an apt description of who she is. She's the heel because it's not about you. I mean, it's horrible that you can't have a child and you want to. There are other avenues that you can take, including adoption, where you can have a child. And there are many children out there who would love to be adopted by you, I'm sure. But you can't blame your sister just because she's able to be pregnant and you can't. And you can't make someone be responsible and do all the things that you feel it's one of those, I can't believe she gets away with it and I can't. So she's the heel.
No. Sister having the baby's a heel for one reason. If you know, listen, I'm not even in a spot where I'm going to go moral high ground of if you can't afford a kid, you shouldn't have a kid. Which if you can't afford a kid, don't have a kid.
Well, for sure, that's true. But I'm just saying in this scenario, she shouldn't have a kid if she can't afford a kid.
Right.
No, you're right.
But if you're going to have the kid, when you know your sister has had fertility issues, wants to have a baby and just can't, right? To spring it on her in front of everybody like that is a jerk move.
Yeah, but why is it about that sister? She should be happy for her sister. She should look at her sister and go, even though the circumstances are that she probably shouldn't because of her financial circumstances, she should be happy that her sister can have this experience even though she can't. She made this about her, and it's not about her.
The correct move from the sister having the baby is a simple phone call. Hey, I know what's going on. I know it's tough for you and your husband.
Was the sister the only one that didn't know? Was she the only one that didn't know?
It doesn't matter to me.
If it's a surprise to everybody, why do you make exceptions?
In a situation where somebody else is struggling with what you're going through, right? Be like if you had a buddy who got laid off from their job and then you ran a surprise, I just got promoted and doubled my salary party at them. That's a jerk move.
Do they have those?
Not in radio.
Okay.
No, a simple phone call fixes this. Hey, sis, I know what you're going through. I'm sorry you're going through it. I hate you're going through it. If there's anything I can help, I will. But before I tell everybody else, before I announce it to the world, and before you come over for this party, I want you to know the reason for the party is I'm pregnant and I'm having a baby. You have not sprung it on her in front of everybody. You've made it sympathetic to what she's going through, because I'm sure that hurts, right? And you've taken a spot where if you want to judge me for my ability to have a kid, that's on you, not me, right? But I'm not going to spring it on you when you're going through this crazy emotional time in your life where you really want something and can't have it. And I got it from a casual hookup and have decided to stick with it, right? Like a simple phone call fixes that. How many awkward social situations, especially family situations, would be fixed if there was just one phone call, right? Like I've always loved the trope of how many movies wouldn't happen if the main character just made a phone call, right? Like it's really that simple.
Well, it's the same with video games. And actually, there are on almost all the Far Cry video games, you can make one choice and the game is over right at the beginning.
Yeah.
No one ever does, but you can do that.
Yeah, that's it. It's really easy. It's really easy.
Are you happy we disagreed on one of them?
I feel better. Texas says, fan, the boyfriend should have ordered the cake anyways and bought the vanilla one that day, plus dating for 9 years. Were you 12 when you got together? I mean, I don't know. Some people, there are some high school sweethearts that stick it out through college, right? It's becoming more and more rare because you can now be exposed to the rest of the world in a way I don't think was possible even 20 or 30 years ago, right? As part of the reasons, lovingly, with all due respect, that's part of the reason I don't want kids, right? Because there's so much of the world that I'm now connected to that I want to see and do and experience, and I'm selfish, right? I think that's why you don't hear high school sweetheart stories anymore, because you're so connected to the rest of the world that when you grew up in a time where it was basically you were exposed to your community and not much else, right? Like you would just say, okay, this is my dating pool, and now you realize there's people from all over the world that I might line up better with. So I get it. That being said, if you're dumping a relationship of 9 years because dude didn't know 3 days out was early enough to order a cake, that's a bad call. That's a bad call. Text says, fan, how is a boyfriend supposed to know that you wouldn't be able to get a chocolate cake? 3 days is normally enough time to order a cake. If you're ordering a fancy bakery cake, it's not. All right, it's not. Fair warning to every dude out there who gets a special cake requested moving forward. If she wants a very particular cake from a particular bakery, give them 2 weeks notice, right? But that being said, not knowing that is not a sin. Not knowing that is
we
not a
also
mistake.
don't know when she requested the cake. It could have been 4 days out when
she did
requested
say
it.
a couple of weeks out.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So the correct move there for him would have been to immediately call the bakery and be like, hey, I need this cake on this day. But at the same time, I completely understand being in a situation where you wouldn't know specialty cakes take a couple of days.
Most dudes would be like, yeah, it should only take about 3 days.
Yeah.
I'll wait till I'm
100%.
Yeah.
100%, without a doubt. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap this bad boy up with a little Twitter trending topics on the way out the door. My name is Rob Brown. He's the great Lonzo. We're back after this to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. So I watched House of the Dragon last night.
I saw you tweeting about it. Yeah.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah, I was thinking about watching it.
It's
then I
brutal.
saw your comments to Diddy, and it's like, yeah, I don't know.
It's brutal.
Brutal as in bad or brutal as in bloody?
Brutal as in bloody, as in violent, as in vulgar, as in sexual, as in it's Game of Thrones.
Is there incest in the first episode?
The
fact that you have to think about it.
No, well, because it's based on around one family, and I want to make sure I have my character straight. No, it is not. However, there is a
Setting new precedent, then.
There is a scene where the Hand of the King sends his young teenage daughter to the king's bedchambers right after his wife died to try to get his daughter in bed with the king, and it's kind of tough to watch. It's honestly a tough watch. I enjoyed it because it is very Game of Thrones, but it's a tough watch.
But is it a tough watch because you know how the thing ended and it bothered you?
No, because so basically where I settled on that, because that was a big thing for me. Basically where I settled on that was, it's a new studio, it's a new set of showrunners, it's a new, it's new directors, it's new actors, it's an entirely new show. I'm not gonna hold it against that crew of people that this show happens to be set in the same universe as the most disappointing show I've ever watched in the OG Game of Thrones. So I decided to go ahead, and I'm glad I did, because I think I am going to like it.
Were there dragons in the first episode?
Oh, yeah. And they're cool, man. They're full grown already. They're big. Dracarys.
So that might get me to check it out. There are dragons right away.
Do not watch it with your kids. That's all I'll say.
Well, my kids are 28 and 24.
I get it. I'll put it this way. I was uncomfortable watching it with my significant other.
Okay. All right.
And we're both
Are you more
grown-ass
uncomfortable with? Is the boys worst than that as far as uncomfortable level?
No.
Really?
No.
It's worse than the boys.
I mean, let me rephrase that. I'm also
desensitized.
Yes. There's a lot of sex. There's a ton of gore. They perform a medieval C-section, and they're very graphic about showing it.
Yeah, gore doesn't bother me to a certain degree.
Then it's less bad.
I watched Night of the Living Dead when I was like 8.
There is a point.
Unfortunately,
there's a point where a dude gets his manhood cut off, and then they just throw it on a table.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the baseline for gratuitous gore.
Did he live? Is he now a eunuch?
He's kind of a background character, so they don't really. Okay. It's kind of means to an end to set a table. For
Is a eunuch full castration though?
I do not know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
I don't want to look that up, though.
I don't think
I
so.
joke about looking things up. I'm not looking
looking
that up. I am not looking that up.
So here, I'll give you a funny story. We were talking about the body hair waxing on the show Saturday, and Cody made a joke about going full Brazilian, right? And Mario was like, all right, you guys got wax. I'll do a Brazilian if I lose a bet. And we were like, write it down. He said it, write it down. So then he's like, oh, you guys are way too excited about this. And
So he didn't know what it was.
No. He didn't know what it was. And then he looks like he's like on his, like, this is before we went on the air. So we're like, it's like this. We're all watching each other on stream. And we see him go like this. And I'm like, you did not just Google it. And he's like, yeah, I did. And I'm like, on a company computer? He's like, yep. I was like, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hope you got friends in IT or engineering that can help you out. Would you feel guilty if he got let go for that? If he got fired?
Oh, 100%. I would stand up and defend him. He's a great dude. I'd 100% take a bullet for that guy. A professional bullet, not an actual bullet.
Because that would hurt.
Correct. No, he didn't do anything wrong, and Cody and I very much baited him into it.
Jimbo says on Twitter,
I just saw that.
My wife is a cake artist, so any request beyond a simple cake 3 days out gets you massive heel heat.
One of my dear friends back at home was a baker, and she said the same thing. And it's not so much that, like, the cake is tough, but it's, she at any point, any given Saturday, she's working on 4 or 5 different wedding cakes at the same time.
All right, time for Twitter Trending Topics. We're going to tell Rob what is trending on the internet. While we were on the stream, we were talking castration because it's what you do, and wondering what makes a eunuch. So because Sean answered on the stream, it was usually to preserve singing voices, and no, it's not the whole thing.
Can I
These
just
are facts
say
now.
How proud I am that that's the comment my little brother left in the stream.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, and he would know because he's probably smarter than you. I know his profession, so just guess.
Do the bit. Do the bit.
I'm trying to endear myself to the rest of your family, so they'll always be on my side.
Do the bit.
All right, the first thing that's trending is Daniel Bryan.
So fantastic. I thought 2 out of 3 falls match against Daniel Garcia last week. I find it very interesting. The way they're handling this, because Garcia was supposed to be a member of Blackpool Combat Club up front before he got shifted into the JAS, but I like how they're making an angle out of it. That being said,
that's not why he's trending, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure it's not. I don't know why he's trending, so I have to say something else.
You're right about all that, though.
That being said, can we be done with JAS v Blackpool? Can we be done with that?
Eventually. I want to see Blackpool versus House of Black, but
Same.
that would be brutal. The reason why he's trending is because Johnny Gargano came back last night.
Yes, he did.
And people are comparing, saying that Johnny Gargano is getting the same kind of love that Daniel Bryan used to get.
Daniel Bryan's very organic run up to WrestleMania 30 was probably my favorite campaign in professional wrestling of the new era. I mean, genuinely, I enjoyed it start to finish. I enjoyed how they worked the we all hate the authority angle into it. I enjoyed Daniel Bryan being the man of the people. It obviously helped me that I was at WrestleMania 30 where he won both matches I was in the Superdome when DB won and beat Orton, Batista, and Triple H all in one night. Lonzo, I've been in there for Saints games. I've been in there for a Metallica concert. I don't know that I've ever heard as loud of an organic, non-speaker assisted noise as I did 77,000 doing the yes chant.
All right, so I don't think Gargano has that kind of love.
I don't think he does either.
I think Cody.
I think he could.
I think Cody Rhodes did. I think it's very close.
I don't know if Cody Rhodes had it so much as it was a lot of WWE only fans like, this is our first major victory over AEW.
All right.
Which it was.
Only time for one more thing. Dexter Loomis is trendy.
Dude shut up last night, and I called it. He's going after the Miz. I
Yeah,
liked it.
I want to give you the chance to say it. You're
like
right. I thought it was AJ, but he's going after the Miz.
I like it. I like it. I like how they're setting it up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. Texas says breaking. Durant met with the Nets and is now removing his trade request and is going to stay. Yeah, we broke that earlier. We didn't break it. It was broken earlier and we reported it. What was Mark's tweet? Mark had a great tweet. Kevin Durant reaches agreement with the Nets despite already having reached an agreement with the Nets. Great tweet. 3 in a row, Lonzo. We're going to get out of here before Lonzo breaks something. Wow. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys this afternoon sitting in for Diesel on Offsides. We're going to have some fun with Mark Ryan. You better believe it. The Rob Brown Show's back tomorrow to do it all over again on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. That's a rough streak for you to end the day.
Well, it's on a Tuesday. What the heck's wrong with me?
Man. All right, dudes and dudettes, you guys are